Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. I have not done a bumpy gravel road drive with no seatbelt on in a while so that I can annoy a bunch of people. So I thought I better get with it. I don't want to disappoint people. So here we are. Crazy stuff going on. And just like I've said in the last couple of videos, I think I was onto something. I think we may be hitting Venezuela. That's at least what it looks like that's going to happen in the next few days. There's several experts online predicting that it's going to happen in the next couple of days. The Pentagon has presented the president a list of strike options for Venezuela, so it looks like that may be happening real soon. Because there's the president's had a rough last couple of weeks, real rough. So these Epstein files that I know some people just don't care about because it doesn't mean anything. It's fine. They're really there's some bad stuff in there. And it's not just about Trump being bad. There's a lot of names. Peter Thiel's listed in there. Bill Gates, of course. All kinds of stuff. Just, Anyways, so there's that. And I think that we could very much be seeing some action in the next few days. And here's the thing. Based on what we've seen so far, it may not actually be Venezuela. It could be throw all the attention to Venezuela and then quietly strike Iran like last time, just out of nowhere. So that's always a strong possibility. So I would not rule that out. Iran has been pretty vocal here lately, and about their weapons building capabilities, that they've been building missiles 24/7, running their factories nonstop, that they're really developing their nuclear weapons capabilities, all that kind of stuff. So it could be that try to get everyone's attention on Venezuela while we actually drop some bombs on Iran. But who knows? I don't know. But the point is that something most likely is going to be happening in the next couple of days. So be ready for that, because there's going to be a lot of hype. Stock market took a pretty decent nosedive today, and some are wondering if the new is wearing off on the big AI, bubble that's been going on the stock market. But who knows? Maybe not. The president said that the economy is going to have a boom in the next 5 to 6 months, and trying to read between the lines, he seems to be focused that a booming stock market means a booming economy is a booming stock market. So it could be that his version of a booming economy is actually going to just be the stock market doing some more growth. If that's the case, then I'd say we're probably going to have a bunch of money being dumped in the system, which is what is being talked about. Going back to quantitative easing, printing a bunch of new money. We're not making pennies anymore. They're actually called cents. Everyone's saying it's a penny. Pennies are British coins. Americans make 1 cent coins. We've never made a penny. So just to clarify there. But if he's expecting a boom, and it could be just the stock market he's speaking of, because all those people with their 401ks, that 30% of the American population that has any kind of significance in 401ks, but he seems to think that's everyone. It could be that he's planning on all of the money that's going to be dumped into the system, and that is what it looks like is happening. Between the $2,000 rebate checks that he's talking about, and other tax cuts, and then the actual just printing of money, it could cause the stock market to boom. that always happens. If you remember last time when they sent out stimulus checks, the stock market and Bitcoin skyrocketed because a lot of people dumped it into that. So that may be what he's talking about. It's unlikely, based on what's going on, that it would naturally just turn around and things would all of a sudden get better. You have to understand that, and this isn't just beating up on Trump. It's just because he's the president. It's all of them. They're all so out of touch with the common man. They have no clue. Trump probably more than others because he's always grown up wealthy and he's been a billionaire and everything for so long. I mean, the guy wouldn't have a clue about going and getting groceries. He thinks groceries, the word itself, is an old-fashioned term that no one uses, which is crazy. He's very out of touch with the average American, which most presidents seem to be the last several times. And they think that because people's investments are doing good, that the economy's doing good. And the fact is about 80% of the stock market is owned by the top 10% or top 5% of the wealthiest people in the country. The average person doesn't have a lot of wealth in the stock market. A little bit, maybe, but not a lot. Not enough to make a difference. And if they could choose to whether they have a booming stock market or grocery prices and insurance prices and home, rent and utility prices lower, they'd probably choose all that instead. So it's probably not the booming economy that he's talking about. That's just my speculation. We've also still got that the relationship, if there ever was one to begin with, between us and China does not seem to be going so well. If you remember, just a couple of weeks ago, the president met with the president of China and came back talking about how great things were, all these trade deals and all this stuff, and now it's all seemed to be kind of falling apart. And when you hear the things that China is saying, it's par for the course. They're not interested in playing ball. They want to dominate the markets. They want to dominate the rare earth mineral market. And even this American company, I can't remember MP, I can't remember the name of it, that's now saying, well, they'll be able to produce most of America's rare earth minerals in the next few years. Part of that company is owned by China. That's the thing. China doesn't just own all these rare earth minerals. They control about 80 to 90% of the world's supply of it. They either own the rights to it, they have stockpiles of it, or they own the mining companies that have the contracts with all these mines all over the world to mine this stuff. So, that's a big deal. And with all this technology boom that's being pushed, that the rare earth minerals, that's super important. You can't make it without them. And so, as we're watching our economy flail, we're watching probably wars happening soon or something to get everyone's attention off of what's going on with being discovered with the Epstein files. And like I said, some of it looks pretty bad, like really bad. There's nothing definitive that just points the finger right at, the president and said that he did this, and this, but there's some really shady sounding things. Apparently in one of them it shows that the president spent Thanksgiving with Epstein in 2017 when he was president. So his first year of president, he spent Thanksgiving, or was at Epstein's place during Thanksgiving or around Thanksgiving. So he was still had a pretty close relationship with him. It's all a mess, and we're watching, just like I've said, it's several times here lately, we're watching the world build itself to this new order, right? And they've tried their best to make everyone believe that there are two separate ideologies when it comes to politics, conservatives and liberals. And the reality is there's not any difference in them. They're just two sides of the same coin, two wings of the same bird. and they've got everyone duped into believing one way or the other, and it keeps us divided, it keeps us busy and believing that one side's going to fix things versus the other side. And at the same time, all of these elite world leaders are, drawing their own battle lines and their own boundary lines of who's going to rule everything. I mean, what are we going to do about it? That's probably been one of the age-old questions. What are you going to do to fix government? Well, I mean, anymore it's such a monstrosity, probably not much, but you can do things to fix on your local level. You can influence your local level, and you can do the things to take care of yourself, your family, the people that are of importance around you. That's what you need to be doing. It's unlikely this system is going to be fixed. The system that exists today, regardless of who's president, has been broken for far too long. And we're basically watching them kind of control the crash, a pilot behind the wheel of the plane trying to control the crash landing. That's what we're watching. And you and I need to, it's like abandoning ship. You're either going to go down with the ship, or you're going to abandon the ship ahead of time under your control. And I think that's probably the best idea for most of us. So you need to be yourselves prepared, but not just prepared, self-sufficient, and have the ability to do things on your own. Because the wars, and the economy collapses, and the money printing, and the dollar collapsing, and the gold booming, and wars, and corruption and crime, and all of this kind of stuff, that's not going away. It's not changing. So you need to change. You need to do better, get your life better, and get ready, because it's about to get bad, folks. Get your houses in order and prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.